Welcome to the Good Pod. Today's podcast is presented by Dr. Barry Napier. If you'd like more information, please visit our website, christiandoctrine.com.
Who were the sons of God? The Old Testament refers to sons of God, which has been interpreted in a number of different ways, but many are illogical or theologically poor. The most basic text used is Genesis 6, verses 1 to 4. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply in the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old men of renown. Now, it doesn't really matter what we think. What does the text actually say? It simply says this. 1. As the population grew, many women were taken as brides. 2. Because the time was still close to the time of creation, these women were beautiful and relatively healthy, and so not yet ravaged by sin. Then 3. Giants, or Nephil, or Nephilim, existed at this early stage of mankind. And 4. The Nephilim are not necessarily the same as the sons of God, as the sentence construction implies. That's basically it. There are 9 possible meanings for sons in this and in similar texts. Now it would be easy to expand the explanation of the real meaning of sons of God, as is the practice of so many, but we need not torture it because the context makes matters clear. For me, the clue is found in verse 3, where God says, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. No mention of angels, fallen or not. One of the 9 possible meanings is a reference to angels, but this meaning cannot apply to the text. But why do I say this? Well, look at the actual facts. 1. God himself is talking about striving with man, not with angels. 2. God does not identify the sons as angels, whether good or evil. 3. We are told that there will be no sexuality in heaven, and that angels, whether good or evil, do not indulge in sexual behavior. I suggest you look at Matthew 22 for the example. To say they do is sheer speculation, and speculation is not my forte. Then 4. Sons can otherwise refer to male children, and that's whether they're young or youths. Grandsons, young animals, unrighteous men or righteous, the people of a nation, inanimate objects such as stars, and a member of a particular class of people. Knowing this, how should we view the text in Genesis? Again, read the clues in the text. The first 3 verses do not tell us whether the sons of men were good or evil, nor is their activity, that is marriage, condemned in those verses. However, the first clue is in verse 3, where God says he will not strive for much longer with human beings. The fact that the children grew up to be mighty warriors is not really relevant to our argument, nor do they prove beyond doubt that those children were giants or angels. The complaint of God continues in verse 5, where he saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth. This was the beginning of the end for all of mankind, except for Noah, who found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Verse 8. Therefore it is reasonable to assume that the sons of God in this text are simply men who lived wickedly, whether or not they were Nephilim. Indeed, it is obvious from later texts that all people, Nephilim included, were destroyed for their evil doing. The idea that the sons were angels is rather fatuous, for angels were created higher than men, and animals were made lower than human beings. Just as humans do not procreate with animals, neither do angels procreate with humans. They are completely separate entities. There is a patent absurdity in the suggestion that angels coupled with women and had dual spirit-human children. To put it in modern terms, the DNA simply does not exist for such an event to occur. In heaven, marriage will not occur, so sexual relations are not envisaged, as we read in Matthew 22, verse 30. It is true, though, that angels can take human form. Note the 3 angels who met Abraham before Sodom was destroyed, one being Christ. This neither confirms nor denies that angels can conduct human relationships such as sex. Sons of God can, at times, refer to angels, as say Job 1:6 and 38:7. Yet in Galatians 3:26, the same term is used of human males. Context is very important when interpreting. Then we come to a dark fact that many women in history have said they were sexually assaulted by beings they claim were demons, or even extraterrestrial aliens. Demons or evil spirits are very powerful persons and can assume human form, but on the other hand, the form they take usually seems to be partial or do not last for very long, which again questions that the sons in Genesis were angels. Taking all issues into account, I tend to believe that the sons of God in the Genesis passage were the more wicked examples of mankind, who took righteous women to be their wives, thus further corrupting mankind very badly, leading to their destruction in the flood. All the evidence appears to support this interpretation. I am convinced that if something as powerful as angels taking human wives was a reality, more would have been said of it in Scripture, using more explicit language. But straightforward language denies demonic involvement.